This topic today will be on staying physically active while home, tips and tricks. And the presenters are Kathleen Hatch. She's the Director of Recreation and Sports in the Office of Student Life here at Ohio State University. Bonnie Wilhelm is a health coach with the OSU Health Plan. And I am Brenda Buffington. I'm an assistant professor in the College of Nursing, and I am a Buckeye Wellness Program Manager. Welcome to all of you. First, we'd like to review a little bit from Byrne's first presentation. That was her skills building from that session are as follows in this slide. She wanted us to remind you of the idea of thinking, feeling, and behaving, and about positive self-talk. She challenged you to identify two situations in the past week of how negative thinking affected how you felt and how you behaved, and to challenge you to write those down. If you haven't had a chance to do that yet, or even did not get to see her live, you can certainly find it and listen to it, watch it, and go ahead and do this skills building activity. To further understand this, I thought this picture might be helpful. This is cognitive behavioral therapy at its best. And she challenges us to think about how our thinking affects the way we feel, and then how our feeling affects the way we behave. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with today. And to do so, we'd like to ask you to really come to this moment, come to this heartbeat, come to this breath. So I'd like you to join me. If you'd like to stand, that's great. If you're already standing, or stay seated is just fine as well. We're going to do just a little light stretching to get started. So join me if you would. Breathe in through your nose, raise your arms up, stretch, and exhale and just shake it out. Excellent. Let's do that again. Breathe in, stretch up, great, and exhale and just shake it out. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take one arm up over your head. Use your other hand to just brace yourself against your thigh and stretch off to one side. All the while just breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Great. And let's come up and over to the other side. Stretch that arm up and brace yourself with your other arm against your thigh or the chair. And again, breathe in and out. Let's do a couple more. I'd like for you to, if you feel comfortable, interlock your fingers and stretch your arms up. If this is not comfortable, just simply pull your shoulders back, stretching your chest and your shoulders, bringing your shoulder blades together. Nice. Now just the opposite. Roll forward, pulling your chest in and your abs in, feeling a stretch in your upper back. Excellent. Very good. Very good. One last time. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So today, we are going to challenge you with some ideas. This quote I liked a lot. Don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits. So we've been challenged by some limits, haven't we? This is just a picture of the way I was challenged coming to my home office. I have a standing workstation at my office at the College of Nursing, and I needed to rig something, so I found a couple of boxes. And I was able to stand more often. So I would challenge you to do the same. We're going to bring up some ideas for you, but first we're going to talk about some of the benefits of exercise. Absolutely, weight management. And, just like freshman 15 is not always a good thing, we want to make sure that we don't have quarantine 15. Right? So we're going to talk about a few ideas for you. The benefit also is to reduce the risk of illness and chronic conditions. Absolutely. Another benefit is that it strengthens your bones and muscles. Now this time, stress is good. Right? So weight-bearing activities, resistance training, which you're going to get a chance to do today during this presentation. Improve mental health and mood. It absolutely does. We'd like to see what you think. From even the moment when you clicked to enter this webinar to the moment you finish this 30-minute webinar, to see maybe what that scale is for you down there. Were you in kind of the red, the orange? And might you be in the lighter green or darker green by the end of this time? But it does work. It improves the ability for you to do daily tasks, absolutely. And we know that it can increase longevity or help you to live longer, right? So we're going to be talking about stress. We know that exercise can reduce stress. And the way that we know that it can is we measure cortisol, right? So the stress hormone cortisol, we find out, does suppress our immune system and our immune response. So we don't want a lot of cortisol flushing around. So we have found, research has told us that moving your body, even small doses, reduces stress and as a result, reduces cortisol production. So in effect, exercise, that is how it can raise our immune response. And finally, another benefit is it reduces inflammation. Okay, so recommendation is 150 minutes a week minimum, and that's like 30 minutes a day for 5 days, or over 7, it's less than 30. There is evidence that even as little as 20 minutes can suppress inflammation and support our immunity. So I'd like to now send it over to Coach Bonnie.
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining us today. Brenda, thank you also for sharing those many benefits of physical activity and exercise. One of the big things that we did want to touch on today was engaging in physical activity. So physical activity is going to be anything throughout the day that your body is using energy for. One of the big factors that many of us has had to change is our environment. So we used to have a work environment and a home environment, but again, for most of us, that has changed here over the past few weeks. As you're thinking about physical activity and trying to challenge yourself to squeeze in some more steps day by day, do keep in mind that any bout of minutes is going to provide health benefits, just as Brenda reviewed. Also, one thing that might be helpful as well to stay active is to use a tracker. There is a lot of different devices out there on the market now, and technology is a great way to help motivate us as we are trying to fit in more steps throughout the day. As a health coach, I've talked to many individuals that have noticed since their work has changed, they have not been as active, or maybe they don't have standing desks that they may have had in the office. So they've had to come up with some creative ways to still meet and challenge their steps. And then if you are using an activity device or tracker, since we are in new environments, you want to find your baseline and think of a realistic goal as you're trying to improve on a daily basis. So you may have been in presentations or webinars before about ways to increase your steps at work or throughout a typical day. So you can always think of some of those ideas, but also try to change that to our new environments. A couple of suggestions that might help with time is to determine if you have free time where you used to commute. When you used to commute to the office, can you use that time and start your day or start your evening with a quick walk, or can you jump on a piece of cardio equipment? Now that we are in a stressful time, it's more important now than ever to take a stress break. So on your schedule, can you go through and schedule and block time where you may be able to get in some movement or some physical activity? And then also, as you're planning this, again, think of the weather, especially here in Ohio. We were blessed with some warm spring days, but now we are in the mix of some snow and some rain. So as you're thinking about blocking time out in your day to participate in physical activity, it might be important too to check the weather and see when you can get out. Just a couple of things that you can do around the house. Again, you may have heard in the past to use the bathroom on a different floor, maybe in your office building. So try to do that at home if you have the opportunity, but use maybe a restroom that's further away. Also folding laundry. So if you typically fold your laundry and carry a laundry basket, fold your laundry, but take multiple trips to each room to try to fit those in. If you are able to, maybe even if you are on today's call, we're going to challenge you to do some physical activity exercises, but carry that into other calls and walk while you're on calls, maybe even checking in with family members, and try to get in movement that way. And then also outside, as the weather does let us move outdoors, yard work is a great plus to fit in physical activity. You can also think of things as sweeping the garage. I myself have been walking kind of the same walking path around my neighborhood since we're limited to where we go. So just this week recently, I challenged myself to find a new interesting path to keep myself motivated. Walking to the mailbox can be great if you're in different complexes and your mailbox is further away. To keep kids going and the family going, a lot of communities and neighborhoods have put together scavenger hunts or different things that you can look for in people's yard or in windows. And then also, if you are helping out any neighbors and need to drop off some baked our goods, any type of goods, let's save those miles on our car. And if it's within walking distance, you can always visit those neighbors by feet or bike too. So again, we do want to challenge you today and provide some ways to fit in physical activity while you work. So feel free to join us. Myself, Brenda, and Kathleen are actually going to demonstrate the bicep curl, but we are each going to be using different equipment. Again, this is going to be great to do while you're on calls, if you need a quick mental break. So we will just take you through a few exercises here, and we're going to aim towards 5 repetitions. So basic bicep curl. And then also, as you continue to challenge yourself, you can start to mix up your routine and do isometric contractions with stopping at different angles. You can also then do the opposite and switch out. A wider W curl can be helpful. Simply put your arms in the shape of a W. And then last one, my favorite mix up for the bicep curl is going to be the hammer curl. So hopefully that helped get your heart rate up a little bit, or also give you some ideas there for the future. So again, we do just want to reiterate, there are 1,440 minutes in each day. As Brenda previously shared the recommendation, do we have 20, 30 minutes in our new schedules to fit in some exercise? So as you see on the screen now, this is an example of what someone's typical day may have looked like. You see the commute time, getting kids ready, getting them out the door, work schedules, the after commute pickup time, family time, bedtime, and the day is over. So now if we look more at our COVID routines or changes that we're going through, you can see a few more empty boxes. Now is a great time to take advantage of building in more exercise, again, to really help out with that stress reduction and fitness component. And now Kathleen is going to continue to share some great ideas with everyone.
Listen, thanks, Bonnie, and appreciate the great start that both of you provided. I'm Kathleen Hatch with Recreational Sports Student Life here at Ohio State, and I think as we've as Bonnie was just eloquently talking about settling into this routine, we certainly know today that we're lucky enough, many places, to get something delivered to our door if we're still in need of new items in the household and the Clorox doesn't seem to work for you. You know, whether, and the whole range of resources to allocate are available too, you know, from high-end products to wearable devices to, fortunately, you know, the world of opportunities to investigate new streaming services and app. And obviously, as a part of the Ohio state community, we are incredibly lucky and fortunate to have, you know, new premium services available with our benefits. And so, you know, it is worth investigating to see if there are, you know, some things that would fit and would help you recreate the sense of a gym at home, or added, you know, I didn't want to necessarily spend significant resources on a new bike, so I put it on a set of training wheels and bought some free weights. So I think that there's, you know, there's ample opportunity to think about your choices. But I wanted to share, as you think about those choices and then building in some goals, and I wanted to share a little personal journey that I've had the last couple of years, and certainly there's new tests in our COVID world. But on the right there, for those of you who have a good old iWatch, that you would know that, you know, you have the opportunity to have all kinds of, and Bonnie was describing, there's lots of devices on the market to track your movement. And so for me, it was really important a couple of years ago when I joined the university to think about a movement goal. And for all the benefits that Brenda started with today, I knew that in order to manage stress and to be at my very best, I needed movement a part of every day. And so what you see here, the red circle, and this is just one snapshot of the many things that you can calculate on any given day, I wanted to look at setting an achievable, I wanted to be smart about this, an achievable goal that I could close my move, which is just counting active calories every day. And I wanted to do it in a way that, you know, that you can't reach 550 is what my current goal is. This is actually a snapshot of last week, a day last week, and the 964 refers to what I moved that day. But I, you know, and often, you know, my average actually this last year has almost been close to that 900. And each week you're prompted often with these devices to establish your new goal. And it's encouraging, you know, goals that are reach goals. But I actually wanted to ensure that no matter what was happening in a day, whether it was full of, you know, hours of continuous meetings or traveling across the country, that I could achieve this. And I think it's probably good fortune and not surprising that yesterday I actually closed my 800th consecutive day of my move. So as you think about any goal, whether it's an increment, you know, for a day or a week or over time, you know, set something that's meaningful to you and that will help you sort of get through those very tough days. But I went out for a walk this morning, a good hour, just closed half of it. So this still is a push for me, but it is attainable to do if you're really thoughtful. Next, Brenda, thanks. And even though our focus today has been, you know, in terms of inside the house and maybe within your own yard, we certainly wanted to not miss the opportunity to talk about the larger outdoors as well. And this is a nod to our, hopefully, some international audience today joining us, hence the metrics system on this sign from the city of Victoria. But there is so much evidence and research that we know today about getting into nature. And so even with many of us under stay-at-home orders right now, and depending on where you live, you know, Bonnie was talking about a different route to a mailbox, and so to where you can enjoy getting some fresh air for yourself and for your family, that there's really significant health benefits, but we all need to be incredibly responsible as we do that as well. As we wrap up this and want to leave in terms of building on, Burns' skills of how we, think and feel and behave, this was intended to be sort of the next set of tools in the toolkit, and to think about today, the messages that we do need to breathe and to stretch, and those simple building blocks, become the additive value. And Bonnie shared the steps and our patterns in a house or around the yard or in a park. Hopefully, the opportunity to think about creating one goal for yourself. The other thing that I wanted to share about a goal, and research talks about the fact, and even though there is some gender difference, important to, in addition to establishing a goal that's relevant to you, is to write it down. That research would suggest that we're at least 1.4 times more likely to be successful if we've written down a goal, and we exponentially change the likelihood of being successful with our goals if we share it. So back to my move goal that I shared with you, I actually told the team when I joined, and even just sharing that goal with you today keeps me accountable to wanting to achieve that in a contiguous way. And we certainly hope that you're able to ignite and find new ways to move, from simple to complex. And the finishing slides that we've got for you here are really to highlight some institutional resources. I'm a part of the student life team in rec sports, and we have developed a very significant and are continuing to load new materials weekly in terms of virtual fitness classes, some personal training. We've got a virtual 5K for those that might be interested this weekend, and still opportunities to sign up, as well as many resources for families. And there's our website there, and these slides will all be available to you as well.
Maybe, Bonnie, if you'd like to address anything about the OSU Health Plan.
Sure. At the OSU Health Plan, we have a team of health coaches. We do have various group health coaching programs and educational programs that you can find in Link to Health. And then you may also reach out to us for individual health coaching. Do just keep in mind, this is for faculty that is benefits eligible, staff, and then adult dependents on the plan. And we can cover many different areas such as stress management, helping to improve your exercise routine, and nutrition.
Wonderful. And finally, so my group would be the Office of Chief Wellness Officer, and there's Bern at the top picture in the middle in red, Dr. Bernadette Melnick, and Buckeye Wellness. And we really, just on behalf of, as I said at the beginning, on behalf of all of the partners that work so well together, we really appreciate you being here, taking your time to come and give yourself some self-care knowledge. Maybe learn some new strategies. We appreciate your feedback as well, so we'd like to ask you to please complete a brief survey following this presentation. It would help us a lot to find out what maybe some other topics are that you'd like to learn more and more about, and how you felt that this was conducted. Hopefully it was helpful for you. We're just really thrilled to be a part of this program. There is our contact information: Kathleen Hatch, Bonnie Wilhelm, and myself, Brenda Buffington. To give you a little clue as to what's going on next week, so we have number 3 out of 8 next week on the 22nd, again from 12:30 till 1, Be Here Now, Mindfulness Works with Dr. Sharon Tucker. I think you'll really enjoy that one. In addition, we have a couple of, I'd call them supplemental documents or appendices. So here are just some ideas of other flexibility training exercises you could do. And then the next one gives you some different ones that you could do right there at your desk in a seated position. Kind of fun looking, right? So please refer to any of those. And then finally, we have another one with a little more explanation about strength training, cardiovascular training, and flexibility training. And again, I just want to be, on behalf of all the partners, thank you for being a part of this, and thank you, Kathleen and Bonnie. Great job.
Listen, thanks. And in rec sports, we talk about living a life in motion, so join us. Let's move.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.